A few videos back, we talked about some of the problems that are associated with text message review. And I've been reading some of the articles online about what other people mentioned as what the problems are. And to me, it feels like some of the problems they're mentioning aren't really the problems. So today I want to talk about some of the non-issue in text message review. And I'm not targeting any specific articles. I read about 3 of them, and it looked like some of them were heavily inspired by others. So I just want to go over some of the things that I don't think really are the problems, or some of the things they're mentioning that aren't necessarily true, at least in my opinion. So where I want to start is with a statement that one of the article mentions, and they said it is really difficult to review JSON files. And to me that sounded really weird. It's like, why would you review JSON files? Like, these are files that kind of human readable, but they're meant to be read by a computer. So somebody try to go in and try to review in a JSON format? That's kind of crazy. It's like saying like, oh, it's really hard to drive your car to the store if it has no gas. You have to push it all the way there. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but no one's going to push their car to the store if it has no gas. Same thing, it's difficult to review JSON files in the original format, but no one's actually going to do it. And the next thing is that emojis do not show up in either text files or Excel, which is not true. If you support encoding properly, emojis are just like any other characters, and they will definitely show up in a text file as well as in Excel. The only exception to this would be Microsoft Teams, and they use attached images as the emojis. So your emojis will show up as attachments as opposed to inline of the actual message. So that's another thing that is not true. Emojis are supported in pretty much everything as long as you handle your text messages properly. Some articles said that you cannot review text messages in Excel. Well, I wouldn't, but you still can. You know, Excel actually gives you a lot of advantages over some of the traditional tools because of how quick and easy it is to use. You can do quick scrolling, you could do very simple text searches, and you certainly can do at least initial pass or like early case assessment situation in Excel, and then you can figure out what date range you're looking for and maybe what people are you interested in, and then let your eDiscovery vendor know and say like, okay, convert all this to, let's say, RSMF and load to relativity, but only these people and only these date ranges. So Excel, you know, not a great way to review text messages, but certainly could be used as one of the tools in the process. Another thing that gets mentioned often are screenshots. And yes, if you have a lot of text messages, screenshots isn't a way to go. But if you have like maybe up to 5 screenshots, there's nothing wrong. You know, somebody sends you an appropriate picture at work and you want to report them to HR, it's used somewhere. Well, you take a screenshot and you're done, right? You don't need to deal with all kinds of forensic collection or anything like that. So if you have only a couple of screenshots, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have a sizable text message collection, then of course, screenshots isn't a way to go. And the last thing are reactions. A number of articles mentioned that reactions to text messages aren't supported in Excel or anywhere else except something proprietary that possibly that company sells. And that depends on how text messages are converted from their JSON file format to text-based. So in the message crawler application that I have, what I do with reactions, I put them into a separate field. So if this data goes out to Excel, just like you would see message status deleted or modified or something like that, you'll see what reactions that message had. So in that case, it would be fine to view data in Excel. However, if the conversion software that flattens out messages from JSON to Excel drops out the reactions, then yes, that's definitely a bad idea. You want to preserve it because reaction to a message could acknowledge an action, or saying like somebody could say, hey, should I do this? And they give it thumbs up. Well, that thumbs up is the authorization for the person to do something, and you absolutely want to capture that. And yes, I fully realize that writing for legal is really hard, so people try to come up with as many bullet points as possible. but that's my opinion on some of the things that people list in their articles that have an additional interpretation by me. Anyway, if you have any opinions on what isn't the problem for text messages that people try to make it sound like it is, please put it in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow on LinkedIn, subscribe on YouTube. I will see you in the next video.